Hey beauties, it's your girl. So today we are going to be talking about being in survivor mode. And I'm sure, oh, my hair is all up in my face. Hold on. Let's see. Ooh, there we go. Okay. Could barely see. All right, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a little talky talk on being in survivor mode. Now I know you guys have probably heard this phrase a lot because, you know, if you know, you know. Survivor mode is nothing new to us. But what nobody really talks about is how to go from survivor mode into a lifestyle with purpose, a purposeful lifestyle. So today, that's what we're going to go through. I have a few simple things that will really help you get out of survivor mode. Now, ladies, you know, fellas, hold on one second. I need to talk to the ladies. We have this tendency as black women to be categorized as the angry black woman or masculine, or we just want to do everything for ourselves. And I think a lot of the times people forget how much we've had to do for ourselves for years. This goes all the way back to the enslavement of our people, for example. But what we don't talk about enough in our community is how to transition back into a soft life, how to transition back into the sweetness of life, you know, to being more present in the moment. And really it's because we've been stuck in survivor mode, because we've had to do whatever it takes to provide for ourselves, for our family. And so today I just want to give a few little tips for my ladies and even for my men, because obviously, you know, our men have been out there surviving and making it happen for a long time and can also use the gift of presence within our lives. So let's talk real briefly on how to transition out of survivor mode and into purpose-filled living. All right, stay tuned. All right, people, so first I want to break down what is survivor mode. Okay, so for me, survivor mode has always been something I'm aware of, and I know this because of how I grew up. I grew up and I pretty much had to take care of a lot of things for myself. Now, I know everybody has a different upbringing and we all have a different idea of what survivor mode looks like, but I'm sure everyone can relate to the idea of grinding. You know, especially the way these bills are set up out here right now, everybody is grinding. I don't like to say struggling. We use the word struggling a lot. And a lot of the times, unfortunately, the struggle is what makes you real, is what makes you strong. And I really want to move away from that narrative. I want to move into the idea that really we've been grinding. We've been grinding to provide for ourselves, because we know if it's one thing that motivates people, it's money. You know, because money is needed to get the things that we want and need to survive. So, for me, the whole idea of grinding and being in survivor mode comes from the lack mentality. Now, the lack mentality is the idea that you don't have enough, or that what you have will be gone, or just the idea that there's not enough to go around. And I think that leads to always chasing a better opportunity, chasing, you know, more money, more time, more people to network with. Like, it's an endless thing. And I feel like it's the chasing. It's not about what we're chasing, because we get so caught up in the what we're chasing, we forget that we're chasing. And that's the root of the problem. It's the chasing. That is what attracts lack mentality, survivor mode, grinding, because it's the chase. And we really need to transition into the energy of attracting, especially with this year. For those of you who are into numerology, you would know that this year is a 7-year, and it's all about harmony. It's all about attraction. It's all about alignment, allowing things to flow to you. It's not about chasing, grinding, pushing. You know what I mean? So this year is really a good year for transitioning from the idea of surviving by striving, chasing, grinding, and turning into this idea of attracting, of flowing. So yeah. One of the things that is the major reason why we go into this mode is because of the monetary need. There's value in grinding, you know. I've never seen anybody who's actually grinding not being successful, not making it happen. That's the whole point of grinding. Survivor mode means you're getting shit done, right? And it leads to a lack of time. Sorry, I have some notes here, so if you see me looking down, it's because I'm trying to keep my notes in my mind, everything together, because I don't want to ramble. I have a tendency to do that. But anyways, so this chase for the monetary things in life, it leads to a lack of time. And a lot of people forget that time is the most valuable thing that we have. You can use time to self-improve, to develop a plan, to improve your image, your skills, to create. Ooh, sorry y'all, I got some hair on my eye. And to just think freely, to dream, to put yourself in a different mind state. And a lot of the times, because we're so caught up in this chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing and chasing, we don't actually take the time to plan, to work smarter and not harder. And for some people, beyond just the monetary value, we're doing it for our families. Like for me, when I was growing up, I got a job as soon as I could legally get a job, which was 15. And from that moment on, I was striving to do everything that I could for myself, to get my school clothes, you know. Granted, my family did provide, you know, the basic things that I needed. If I wanted anything extra, I had to go get it. And so I always valued having a job after school. My friends would go hang out or whatever. And I would, if I wasn't playing softball, which I did play for a long time, if I wasn't playing softball, I was at work, period. It wasn't no going to the games, hanging out, none of that. I didn't do none of that. I was about my money, okay? And so, excuse me. But also outside of getting the things that I needed for myself, I tried to help out my grandma, help my family out the most that I could. The most that I could. Yeah. And so that was a big motivator for me too. And so for those of you who have kids, who have families that depend on you, I definitely understand why you're motivated to grind, right? But a lot of the times it's also going to weigh heavy on you, and it kind of puts this resentment, or not even resentment, you know, you're just so tired and exhausted from all the grinding and working that you're doing, trying to survive, that you don't have the quality energy to pour back into those relationships that you're working so hard to provide for. So for example, while you're working these 2 jobs, you know, and doing whatever you have to do on the side to make sure your kids have what they need, when you get home, you're exhausted. You know, you may not feel like cooking, or when your kids try to come and talk to you, you're too tired. Get out my face, you know. And not to say everybody is like this, but this is just an example. And so that can lead to problems. And so I want to talk about how we can shift out of that survivor mode and into a purposeful lifestyle. So for me, the main thing would be shifting from measuring your day based on what you plan to do or what you plan to accomplish, and instead focused on something you're grateful for, something that you actually did. So a lot of the times we spend so much time measuring our day based on what we got done. That's what the grind surviving is about. But instead, we should measure our day on the things that we can be grateful for. You know, softening our thoughts to not be so stuck on what it is we can do, what it is we can gain, and more focused on what we're doing it for, what we're grateful for, you know? Secondly, I would say understanding that you are unique and gifted. How can you use your talents and gifts to enrich your life? So, instead of focusing on working so much for someone else, doing everything that you can do to make your money, I think you can shift into a more purpose-filled life by understanding what you're good at, understanding where you have skills, and how you can make the world a better place, how you can make your life better. Remembering who you are and what you bring to the table will allow you to value yourself more, so that you're not just stressing, striving, and cheaply selling your time to all these other jobs or all these other things. When you know that you have value and there's something important that you can do, you can also be compensated better for that, because you're going to charge for your skill, for your unique gift or talent. Another way that you can shift out of survivor mode. Ooh, sorry guys, I got cut off. So, another way you can shift out of survivor mode and into a purpose-filled life is by working smarter, not harder. And by this, I mean that if you don't leave room for self-improvement, if you don't leave room to figure out what your unique gift or talent is, you know, you are going to continue to sell your time very cheaply to whatever job. I've done it all, don't get me wrong, Instacart, DoorDash, whatever, right? Warehouse work, whatever. Yes, these are things you could do in a pinch if you don't have any other opportunities. But what we forget is, if we spent more time self-improving, you know, and realizing what our dreams and goals are, then we're able to pour into those things and use that to make money. They say that when you do things you love, it doesn't feel like work. That is true, you know, and I think that if we figured out what we love and how we can do it and make money, then it would feel less like grinding and surviving and more like being paid what we're worth, being able to show our value, and feeling like our life is full of more purpose and happiness than just having to go and get the bag all day long, you know. A lot of people are out there doing whatever they're doing, scamming, selling drugs, etc., etc. Whatever you selling, whatever you doing outside of your time, I'm sure that's not exactly what they dream to do, but they're doing it because it's a means to an end. How can you make your dream and your talent a means to an end? If you don't have time to figure that out, then you're going to be stuck doing whatever it is that you're doing. You get me? And then the next thing is discipline. Discipline is the hardest thing I'm still working on right now personally. Discipline is tough, okay? But having discipline and discernment, these are the two things that will place you in a position to work smarter, not harder, but also to know where to place your time. The best way to put this is, are these jobs and these things that you're doing serving you? Are they actually paying you what you're worth? You know, I think a lot of times we forget that we have the power to say, no, I'm not going to do this anymore. Actually, yeah, I'm going to quit. So what, I've been working here so many years. Like, you don't have to slave away at a job that you don't like and you don't love. You don't have loyalty to truly anyone but yourself, maybe your kids, you know, if you have kids, but you're able to like rebalance your energy. You're able to pull your time back. You don't have to continue to do these things. And I feel like when you're in survivor mode, you just keep going, keep chugging, and you forget that you don't have to do that shit. You do not. If it's not serving you, there are better and easier, more effective ways that you can make money, that fulfill your purpose, that bring you happiness, okay? Don't forget that. And lastly, well, I guess this is technically going into why you should be in purpose-filled living instead of survivor mode. So I have being filled and maintaining a full cup. When you are not in survivor mode, you will feel so much better. I know I am. And granted, for me, I was working a county job, you know, helping the community how I've always loved to, but I was burnt the fuck out, for real, okay? To the point where I was starting to treat people, clients, I wasn't showing up the best I could for them, or even like my coworkers. And I had to take like almost a year and a half, 2 years to really like come back to me, to reclaim my energy. Granted, I still work a job, you know. A lot of times spiritual people like that will tell you, oh yeah, get out the system and the matrix and this. And granted, yeah, we all want to get out, don't get me wrong. But sometimes you just have to be in a place where your cup is filled. You know, you might still have to work a job, but at least work a job you like, you love, you know. Have time to fill back into yourselves and shift your perception. Like, instead of thinking that everything is bad and I need to do this, I need to grind, I need to make my money, and remember that the glass is half full, not half empty. And that feeling in and of itself will make anything that you do better, right? You'll feel a lot better about yourself and about your life. Secondly, you will attract. We talked about this. This year is the year number 7, and it's all about attraction, harmony, doing what's natural for you, nature and things of that nature. And so attracting more based on knowing it will happen, feeling it will happen, trusting that everything will be okay, that you don't have to continue to be miserable, that surviving is not living. Whew. Sorry guys, my camera died. So where was I? The why. Why are we getting out of survivor mode? Why are we entering into a purpose-filled life? A lot of you might feel like, okay, survivor mode has got me this far. I got everything I need. I got all the latest bags or whatever. You know, I always got my hair done, nail done. My kids are in the hottest shit. Da, 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 da. Great, okay? But do you feel good? Do you feel at peace? Are you comfortable chasing everything that you have? Wouldn't it be nice to sit back and attract? To trust and believe that it will come through, to do the things that you love, not the things that you don't want to get up to do? Is that not a better option? So having your cup filled, right? And changing your perception of happiness, we talked about, I think before the camera died. We were talking about attracting, and this being the year 7. And so there's a lot of peace in just trusting and knowing that things will happen for you. When you're surviving, you're stressed, you're worried about where is the next dollar gonna come from, how is this next bill gonna be paid, this and that, right? I challenge you to push yourself out of survivor mode, because there's no struggle, you know? I forget where this example came from. I wrote it down in my notes, but I didn't write down where it came from. But there's this proverb, let's say, where you're able to catch more with an open hand, but the more you hold, the less you catch. And it's funny because really all it's saying is, when you're chasing, you're surviving, you're holding on to every last penny, every last inch of time you got, whatever, right? How can you have more with a clenched hand? Your fist is, you can't receive more. The universe could be waiting to bless you with a better job, with the right business partner, you know, to network with, the right connection. And because you're so laser focused on your grind, because you gotta survive, you gotta make it happen, you gotta get the bag, you miss out on these other opportunities. to thrive. And so just the whole idea of not only being more positive, being more happy, but literally opening yourself up, your hands up to receive more. When you're living within your purpose and you're doing what it is that you're here to do and you're getting paid for it, there will be so many opportunities to receive more, because naturally you're doing what you're meant to be doing, you know? The last reason why, and honestly this one was the biggest one for me, and like I said, I still work a job, you know, I also have my own personal business and dream that I a good amount of time doing, okay? Outside of, you know, family, relationship, my spiritual well-being, those things matter a lot to me too. Like, I have my time. And before, I would just work. Need me to do OT? No problem. I'll be there as long as you need me to, you know? Oh, let me go get a second job. I literally would work my job from 8 to 5, 8 to 4. I would literally have an hour in between, and I would clock in at my other part-time job from like 6 p.m. to 12. Go home, go to sleep, come back, 8 to 4. 1 hour, change in the bathroom at work, 6 to 12. Sure, I had a bag. I had no sleep, no energy, no time, no motivation. I didn't pour into my purpose. And that's not living. Sure, I was surviving. Sure, I had the things that I wanted and needed, but I was not happy and I was not well. Okay? And there's so much value in that. So, removing the programming, the idea that you have to compete in the system to have these things to be successful. The hustle, bustle, energy is really just a fancy competition. It's a rat race. And a lot of the times we're surviving and we're pushing ourselves because we want our kids to have the best of the best. And of course we do, right? But is the best of the best them having True Religion jeans, the Yeezys, you know, an iPad, an iPhone, an iPod, an Apple Watch? Like, is that really what they need, or is that what makes you feel like you're successful based on society's expectations? Let's be honest. And so, not to shame anybody, because of course, you know, if you're capable and you're willing to do the things that make your kids, your family, yourself happy, do it. But also, what are you doing it for? You know? And so, removing the programming, the expectation of competing and having the most fabulous life, the white picket fence, the American dream, it's fucking expensive. And a lot of the times it costs way more than money. It costs your time, your happiness, your well-being, your health, your clarity of mind, your connection to your God, you know? Like, it costs way more than we're actually spending, or we're aware of spending. So definitely removing that program, removing yourself from that system in a sense. Even if you do still work a job, it's more about the freedom of your mind, okay? The freedom of your time, your heart, your energy. That shit is priceless. Remember that. And getting yourself out in nature, allowing yourself the time to remember who you are, to connect deeper to yourself, to connect deeper to, you know, your most high. Also remembering what you're here to do, your purpose. This is the whole point. Having a purposeful living. Like, what are you here for? What are you good at? What is your dream? Why does it have to be a dream? It could be a reality. If you put half the energy or all the energy that you put into your hustle and bustle, your grinding and your surviving, if you put that into your purpose, your dream, what you love, you could be just as successful, if not more, doing those things. So remember that. And last but not least, creating your own lifestyle, your own abundance, your own purpose, creating your own business, creating your own whatever, what you want. When you spend less time in survivor mode and you spend more time in you mode, you're limitless. We have to remember this. A lot of the stuff that they've done is to keep us down. If you take your time back and you allow yourself the freedom, you're limitless. So yeah, I hope that's helpful. I know we talk about survivor mode all the time and being softer, and you know what? You deserve to be softer. Your family deserves to enjoy good times together. You deserve to have everything that you want and need. There are so many ways to get it. This universe is abundant. And you would be surprised what you can attract when you're in a clear state of mind, when you feel good, when you're rested, when you're showing up as your best, okay? I hope this is helpful for you to know not only what it is that you're going through, because sometimes you're on autopilot and you have no idea that you're in survivor mode, to understand how you can change that into a more purposeful living, and why, what it will do for you and why it's worth it. Yeah. So that's it. That's all I have. I hope that this video brings you some encouragement. I hope it inspires you to check your life and see where you can let some things go. Okay, I hope you feel worthy and valuable enough to choose you, and understand that being in survivor mode, your intentions are good. You want to have, and I want you to know that you already have it. You're already good enough. It's already yours. It's on the way. Just open yourself up to receiving. All right, guys, have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.